I have a no power iPhone 6s here. Actually, there is power to it actually, but the backlight. It's actually a backlight issue. Dim backlight. All right, and first thing you always think of with a dim backlight is probably a backlight filter. But as you can see here, there's nothing wrong with the backlight filter. I mean, generally speaking, you should be able to see a bulge here, and I don't really see anything. I guess it's still possible that it's busted. You know what? Maybe it is busted. I don't think it is though. So this is the backlight filter right here. Let's go ahead and I think it's shorted. Yeah. So this thing is shorted. And it's pretty tight. Doesn't look like it's blown. You can check diode mode on the two cathode pins on each side, 0.615, 0.012, and 0.614. So this is actually shorted. It's not a backlight filter problem. I think most people will probably be like, all right, let's just replace the backlight filter anyways. But I'm not going to do that because that's not the problem. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to remove the shield here. Let's see. All right, can you see it? So I'm going to remove this shield. This is not recommended for the inexperienced. Because this amigo is slightly lazy. Alright, so we are good to go here. Let's say, let's find out what's going on. It's most likely a bad cap. Most likely a bad big cap. That is the most likely issue. It's my guess. But we will confirm in a little bit. Switch to the small. So here is, what do you notice here? Does anybody notice anything here? Look at this piece of doo-doo. Although I don't know if the coil took a crap or if that's part. Actually, you know what? I think the coil did take a crap because the diode is definitely blown here, and then this one, look, is not even connected anymore. So that's gone bye-bye. Actually, you know what? This diode is still okay. Actually, I think the coil. I think that was a piece of doo-doo on the coil. So I think we need to replace that. And then the diode is bad. And most likely this big cap right here. So I think we're going to have to do all of it, unfortunately. But first things first. Let's first things first, which is let's relieve the short first. And go from there. All right. So I'm gonna go ahead and remove this coil, this diode, because I know that's bad. Can diode be shorted? Yes, it can be shorted. So let's go ahead and remove that. And maybe it was just the diode that was bad. But let me go ahead and do diode mode on both sides again. I don't know which side is which, but so this one is 0.337. So that one's fine. I think that's fine. Yeah, I think that's fine. Then there's the other side, which is 0.12. So that side is still shorted. So let's find out what's going on that side, and then we will fix it. So this side goes to the IC. So it's still possible that this cap is which is my guess. I think that cap is probably bad. So let's just go ahead and remove that cap real quick. First step is to relieve the short, and then we will continue with the repair. So I just put a little bit of 6337 on the tip of my tweezers here, and then I'm gonna let it flow. And hopefully I'm gonna use my tweezers to push, just nudge just a little bit, and hopefully I can get this out. But it's got some underfill stuff on it, so there you go. So I think that's the easiest way to get these things out, man. Hot air is gonna mess your junk up. And all right, so let's do diode mode one more time, and let's see if we can see if the short's relieved or not. That was ground. So this is 0.60. So short is relieved. Let's measure this cap. Make sure this will confirm 0.013. Okay, so this cap is bad as we suspected. So let's put this sucker aside in the trash can somewhere, and let's get to work. Let's clean this up. I think I'll probably just reuse that last diode. Doesn't look that bad at all. I don't know why it popped off, but so let's get a little bit of solder here. I think we can probably just use that. It looks like a little bit too much though, so I may just you don't really want to put too much solder down here, because then it's gonna squirt off the sides. So you just want just enough to tin everything. See that nice little shiny bulb right there? Or that's all shiny. See, this is what dulls your tips right here when you start scraping stuff with it. So this is not good what I'm doing. So actually, okay, I'll use my pencil here. This is a bad tip right here, and this is what I use for scraping. That'll prolong your tips a little bit. So I'm just gonna get this black gunk off here, so I can put these components back a little bit easier. I suspect that I'm probably going to have to replace that damn coil too. It's going to be a pain in the butt, but alright, clean it up. Okay, alright. I think we're good now. Okay, you know what? Let's do one more thing. Let's measure the resistance of this coil here. See if we can find some clues before we put these diodes back. Okay, so one side's gonna be the top of the diode, the other side's gonna be the inside. So we're gonna change our multimeter to resistance mode, and it should be right around 1. If it's like 0.8, then that's a little bit suspect. So resistance of the coil is 0.8. 0.7. So my guess is that that coil is probably bad. So let's just go ahead and pop it off, man. Yeah, I think we have to do it because we saw the little doo-doo on it. If we didn't see the doo-doo on it, then we didn't have. I don't think it'd be necessary, but since we saw the doo-doo, you gotta do what the doo-doo says. Come on, man. Sorry, I'm trying to put a little Kapton on it because I'm gonna apply some high heat to it. Alright, so Kapton all the way down. I'm gonna Kapton just about everything, really, as much as I can here. Kapton that. Kapton that. Kapton that. I actually like using this little tool I have here too. I don't know if you can see it or not, but I just like to use some heat sinks and stuff like that because I don't like to jack things up around here. So I'm just gonna do this. Just put some coins here and stuff like that. Whatever. I mean, some people might think this is overkill, but until you've done as many backlights as we've done, then maybe I'll listen to you. You can do what you want, and then you tell me if that works or not, alright? But I know what I'm doing, just because how many times we've done these things. So, you can yap all you want, man. I don't care. Alright, so just heat, and tweezers are crooked. So I use different tweezers for doing this because I'm poking at these things. I don't use my Hakko 5 BSAs because they are not strong enough. These are the iFixit tweezers. These are just your standard tweezers. They're a little bit bigger. They're a little stronger, and I like to poke on this coil. Not everybody likes to do this, but that's what I like to do. I like to apply heat to it, poke it, and then just break it right in the middle. And then once it breaks off, then I can kind of just disintegrate it, and I'm using quite a bit of force on it, so I hope my mic's working. Yeah, is it working? I think it is working. Okay. Okay, sorry about that. So just heat, poke it. Some people don't like doing this because it's so close to the CPU. Some people use a drill. Name is Sanjeev. You gotta embrace the heat, man. You gotta know your hot air station like the back of your hand. Just as I say that, I'm gonna like overheat something and something's not gonna work. So this is, just a very slow process, whatever. Not a whole lot to this. Just kind of break it off a little bit. You can put a little flux on it if you want. And then, if it's not hot enough, just put your hot air station just a little bit closer, and boom, it's gonna go, man. And then once you get like towards the bottom where you can get access to the metal, like the metal right there, you see that? Then at that point you can probably just take your soldering iron, put a little flux on it, and then it should come off pretty easily. So I'll show you guys. So okay, so this is my dull tip again. So let's see. Dang it. Sticky flux. Alright, so I just put a little flux on it. A lot of flux, actually. And then I'm going to get a little solder. Tip of my C105-105. And this is a bad tip. And this I use this specifically for this so that it doesn't mess up my other $40 tips. And then basically you just kind of apply some flux to it, and then this metal tab down here will go bye-bye at some point. Tweezers may be better actually, but oh, that's not good. Oh, okay. Well, that sucks. Okay, like that. Okay, so that's gone. Okay, that's gone. That's one of the metal pieces gone. And then let's see if we, you know what, let me get my other. Now I'm going to use my 5 BSAs, my Hakko 5 BSA tweezers, because they are thinner and they will be able to grab it a little bit easier. Okay, so there you go. Okay, so that's gone. And then basically just clean up this old gunk here, man. And with my old tip, I can just kind of use a little pressure and scrape away this garbage. At some point, I'm going to start using some IPA here to clean it up, but I want to get this gray stuff off first. And try not to dig into the logic board too much, otherwise you can expose some traces and stuff, and unwanted exposure of traces. Okay, so You know what? I forgot to ask this guy. I think this guy wanted to know if it's going to be a backlight system or a backlight filter, so I need to email him before I start working on this. Some people aren't very happy to hear that, you know, went from 65 to 135 or whatever you charge. So I'm gonna clean this up, and then I'm gonna let this guy know that what the price is. Alright, so this is pretty much done, so I'm gonna go ahead and remove. I mean, I don't think I'll be really using heat anymore. Maybe I will be using heat, a little bit of heat. So I'm not gonna actually get rid of all of the Kapton here, but alright, so that's kind of what it looks like right now. You can kind of get a little closer look here. And that is ready to go in terms of putting all the new components back on, pretty much. You know what? I think I might have lost my damn... Dang it. My glass diode, it was here somewhere. I might have forgot about it, actually. Yeah, I think I might have lost it. Anyways, I'll just use a new one. It's not a big deal. But big cap, glass diode here, coil, and then we should be back in business, hopefully. So let me email the guy, and then make sure he wants to do it, and then after that, then I will do it. Come back and finish this video here. Okay. Alright, we're good. So, I'll be back. Alright, so it's a go. So we're going to replace the coil, the 30 volt diode, glass diode, and the big cap. And we should be back in business after that. Okay, so first things first, let's move this over a little bit so that we can get access to all this stuff. And then we will get moving on things. Let's do the, I don't know, probably the glass diode first. I don't know. Yeah, since we have the Kapton on it, we might as well do the glass diode first. Making a little bit of a mess here. Just remember that diodes are directional, so don't forget that. Get my heat sinks back here so I don't jack anything up. Okay. So there's a little rectangle side that goes towards the bottom. That is the anode side. That's equivalent to the line on a normal diode. Since this is probably going to be the hardest thing to actually put on, so I'll just put this on first. Sometimes it's actually not a bad idea to tin it first. That way it'll go in a little bit easier. So let's just go ahead and tin it. Alright, so get the tip of my soldering iron. Get a little bit of, just a little bit, and we will tin it. Yep, I should probably get a better tip here. Let's get some clean flux. Alright. There you go. That should be sufficient right there. Okay, that's sufficient. Okay. Definitely sufficient. Alright, so let's just go ahead and pop this back on real quick. And then I think this Kapton might be a little bit too much. So I'll just do this. I'm at 400 degrees Celsius with airflow of 17, if you're curious. There it goes. Not quite sure if it's quite done yet, but it should be shortly. There it goes. It's definitely good now. Alright, so that's good. You can kind of wait for it to cool a little bit and give it a little nudge, but I know that's pretty solid. So let's get the other little diode on, and then we'll get the coil on, and then I see. So this is directional. So the line at the top of the diode should go towards the bottom. And if you look at the ZXW tools, you'll see it by the anode. It'll say anode on it, on the pin. Okay, let's get a little more flux here. Probably can't use enough flux there. So this one I'm just going to use my tweezers, I think, and hopefully I can get a nice little solid joint with it. If not, then I'll just... Okay, so let's go ahead and check for short real quick, just to make sure it's not shorted at the top and the bottom of the diode before we continue. So red to ground, one side 0.438, and then this side is 0.49. Okay, that should be good. So let's get a little more. Let's see. I think let's okay. I think that's okay. Maybe a little bit more. There you go. Maybe that might be a little too much, but it's all right. All right. So now we'll get the coil on, and then we'll get the big cap on. So the coils are non-directional. So, and this is not the exact same size coil. It's gonna be a little bit smaller. It should make it a little bit easier to put on actually. So we're just gonna do the same thing, tin it just a little bit. I really should get some flux on it, but just a little bit. That should be fine. And then we're gonna need heat to get this on. So there's plenty of solder below there already. I'm afraid I'm gonna use too much heat, so I'm actually gonna use my iron here and see if I can kind of get a little bit of. This is the ground side, so is it ground? No, is it ground side? I don't know if it's ground side or not, but anyways, this is a little bit harder to. I don't think this coil is actually grounded. Is it? No, it's not grounded. I think that should be okay. Yeah, that's solid. Okay, so now let's get this backlight coil backlight cap back on here, and then we should be back in business. I really don't want to use too much heat anywhere here because it'll cause issues, man. Being so close to the CPU like this. So let's flood, and then let's get our cap, and it's gonna be a little bit of a pain to get back on actually, but we'll just use the same approach that we used to get it off, which is tin the tips of your tweezers, and then flood it with flux, and just kind of like let it flow a little bit. So I think that's too much. And just use your tweezers to kind of push down a little bit, and hopefully it'll attach itself. Alright, I think that's probably pretty good. So let's just remove everything and double check. And then we should be in business. Hopefully. Don't rip anything. Okay. Okay, so before we do anything, let's just double check everything, make sure all is good. So diode mode, and we can just go to the connector here and see what it is. So cathode pin 0.577, 0.479, 0.57. Okay, so that's not bad. I mean, it's just if you wait a little bit, it should stabilize. It should be about 0.61, 0.54. And so I'm just gonna short it real quick. Actually, you know what? Yeah, to short it, I think I just go like this. Let's try that. Okay, so now let's measure it again. Let's see if we get a better value. 0.58, 0.48, 0.58. I think it's okay. Let's just make sure none of this stuff is shorted. So let's just measure all this to ground. Make sure we're not getting 0. So that was 0.33, 0.33, 0.33, 0.49, 0.48. This should be 0. Okay. So I think we're good. So let's start it up and see if it works or not. Alright, so I plugged it in. I didn't see any smoke, so that's a good sign. So let's plug it into the outlet now. And we are getting 0.33, 0.45, and we do have a battery symbol, so see that? So that's pretty good. So I think we're in business for the most part. We're just wait for this charge, and I'll start it back up, and we can finish this up. Alright. Alright, so as you can see, the phone is back on, and the oops, sorry about that. Anyway, Backlight's back in business, and my microphone's still acting up a little bit with a little bit of static. So all is good here. All right, all is good. Everything is tested fine and everything. So that's how you do a iPhone 6s backlight kind of system. Not full system, but it's the backlight system repair. What's up? What's up? I just wanted to talk a little bit about this online microsoldering course that we have. So basically, we have 4 courses, starting from the basics to how to use the XW tools, which is the schematic software. And we have a course called Backlight Touch Charge, which deals with the 3 most common repairs. And then our last course is data recovery. What we did was we combined all of these courses into one full curriculum. If you want to learn microsoldering, I would say that this is probably the best way to start. So if you want to buy it, we have it hosted at Udemy.com, and the best way to do it is just go to microsoldering.com, click on store, click on the full curriculum. And from there, you can watch some previews and some intros to these videos. So if you want to learn microsoldering, this is the course to get. Alright, thanks.